Hello everybody, Jason Spangler here, the SanteeSwapper, back with another unboxing. Now this one, I guess I'm going to call Baltimore Collection Part 2 because the gentleman who sent me this box had already sent me a collection that was mostly focused on his father's stuff. At the time when I opened it, the collection had a lot of OA flaps, some of them were really good. It was a pretty popular video. Since then, he's gone through more of his stuff, maybe some of his son's stuff, I'm not even sure. He just sent me a quick note and said, I'm sending you another box. So I don't know what's in here. He sent me no pictures. We've made no deal for me to purchase it. Hopefully all that will happen afterwards. So I'm gonna be just as surprised as you are to see what's in this box. All right, I've got the box open and it turns out he wrote me a nice note. It's even got some instructions here. It says that there's different bags and one bag is his stuff, two bags have his father-in-law's stuff, which I think is most of the collection that I referred to earlier as the Baltimore collection. And these are some other items here too. Basically, just writing me a nice note and kind of saying, tell me what this is worth and what you'd be willing to pay for it. So right off the bat, there's some mugs here. I generally try not to get mugs. In fact, oh, I hear a little rattling. So this is why it's bad to mail mugs, because this mug, I'm sure when he put it in the mail to me, did not have this gigantic chip right there. But it's just very, very hard to mail mugs without them getting busted. So this one's now, this 73 Jamboree has been around for 48 years. But when this gentleman mailed it to me from Virginia, it got chipped. And now it's ruined. So mugs are tough. I think that I generally advise people, and here's some pieces of this Philmont mug. Generally tell people don't mail mugs because you have to pack them as if they're, well, they are fragile, right? So, all right, let's see what we got in here. We'll dump this out, make it a little more exciting. I'll have to check and see if he numbered the bags because he referred to them some as being his and some from his father-in-law, and so just want to make sure I don't mess things up. So I might try to do this, keeping them a little separated. He wrote letters on them. So these are the B bags, and here's a C bag, and then an A bag. So let's go back and check the list here. All right, so A bag is his stuff. So this is the gentleman that I'm dealing with. His name is Steve. And B bag is father-in-law here. And C bag is then some stuff from his own son. And so he wants me to kind of maybe make him an offer by bag, because I think for the C bag, maybe he wants to give some of that to his son. So that makes sense. All right, so I've got the bags out. I think what I'll do is try to go through them. I probably will leave off this bag, which is the bag that he said belonged to his son. I don't know if you can see in here, but essentially this is a bag full of position patches. I see arrow of light patches, and there's some garters for wearing on a uniform. So this looks to be a lot of sort of in standard issue insignia from maybe the 70s, 80s. I'm not sure exactly what time period he was in, but nothing here that would be too exciting for you to watch. But you might want to see some of this older stuff. So let's start first with Steve's bag, if you will. We'll pull it out and see what we got. Well, that has a big, beautiful jacket patch there. So Nassau County. This is obviously going to be in New York, and so that's where he would have spent some time. Some neckerchief here, probably his troop neckerchief. And then a camp staff neckerchief, which I love getting those. Cub Scout. Troop leader, 1963, 1964, 1966. Love these old camp neckerchiefs. They never get old. So he has a whole nice pile of neckerchiefs. And then we do have a little bag of patches here. So let's kind of go through that and see what we got. Again, this sort of looks like Jersey, New York, that kind of area. Some other patches here, just event patches mostly. Camporee patches, but some of them are pretty old, so that's kind of nice. Nassau County, this is the camp that we saw the neckerchiefs for. Firemaker, okay, Nassau County. So these are essentially event patches. Here's an Order the Arrow flap, so that's from that Buckskin Lodge, which I believe is Theodore Roosevelt Council, or no, Nassau County. That's why we're seeing that, right? And then we have a few more modern patches. I'm guessing then if we look at time periods, that those would have been the patches that probably belonged to him when he was doing scouting. And then here might be a few patches that when he was being a scoutmaster, maybe even to his son, or just involved in the local troops. So some more modern patches. So we'll put those back in the bag, because again, I think he sort of expects me to keep these separated so that when I respond back to him, I can try to make him an offer based on the bag, and he'll kind of feel like he's not selling off his son's scout stuff. I'm guessing these 2 bags then, according to his note, belonged to the father-in-law, which is the original Baltimore collection. So here we have the Jamboree set. Many of you will recognize that as being the set that the BSA made as kind of a replica set of all of the Jamboree patches up through, I think it was 77. Here's an Order of the Arrow sash. I've got a lot of those in the back because everyone had a white sash. They really haven't changed very much. This is kind of a neat patch from the World Jamboree in 1979. You folks who know your history will know that Iran had a revolution that took out the Shah. But did you know that in 1979, Iran was supposed to host the World Scout Jamboree? And so that threw everything into a tizzy. And so they actually had to sort of break off and have an event in Sweden that was sort of a substitute jamboree called the Dala Jam. This is a 1971 BSA contingent patch to the World Jamboree that would have been held in Japan. I'm looking to see if there's any other stuff here that really looks interesting. Here's a Jamboree contingent patch from Kentucky. Just a nice council patch, a CP. And my old joke, folks, every collection has a 73 Jamboree neckerchief. Boom! Without a doubt, it always happens. Old wood badge neckerchief, 77 neckerchief. So this bag here, done. One more bag to go in this unboxing. All right, this is a lot of sort of 3D pins, kind of jewelry-ish items, but there might be some treasure in here. You never know. All right, for example, this is a ribbon. I have no idea what that award is, but it looks pretty fancy. I'm not even sure if that's BSA, to be honest, but most likely it is. It could be some kind of religious award medal. There's also, oops, got some tape on these guys, so making it hard for me to get them open. There's some, I guess you would call them tie clips here. If I can get them open, aha, here we go. I'll show you these guys. Now, a couple of these are actually pretty good, so take a look there. But the one I think kind of deserves a little bit of attention is this guy here with the blue. So I think that would have been some kind of a really old commissioner one from maybe from the 60s, a tie clasp. And then here's a Cub Scout bullion patch that would have been worn if you were sort of a professional scout or some big wig and you were going to a banquet and wanted to show everybody you were with Cub Scouts. In this little bag, I see some keychains and coins and tokens. Here's a wood badge woggle. Here's another medal. This is Valley Forge Trail, so that's a historical trail medal. Then here's a small little, you have to look through this jewelry stuff because there are some small pieces from Order of the Arrow lodges that would really be home runs. They used to have Ordeal, maybe Brotherhood and Vigil pins, depending on the lodge, that were very, very unique, sort of like fraternal order pins. And so I just have to go into this little container here. I confess I've never found one in a collection. I never have. They're called Caldwell pins. That was one of the makers, and also Hood was another maker. These are not Caldwell or Hood pins. So there you go, just some little pins, but I had to look to be sure. Oh, here's a couple belt buckles. Belt buckles are still pretty collectible. People like those, and I know a friend who actually collects OA belt buckles. So there's a nice minty fresh one from Nintigo Lodge, and then here's one from Baltimore Area Council that's been worn. It's got a little bit of ding on it, but not too bad. And then let's see what's in this one. Some more buckles. Oh boy, all kinds of stuff here. I wonder if this one is the OA belt buckle. No, I can't make that out. He wrapped everything carefully. This has just come off of some kind of a plaque or something. You see where it's glued on, but it's just a BSA fleur-de-lis. Trying to get underneath some of these to see if there's anything really juicy to show you guys. This looks like a paperweight. Yep, a little old-fashioned Cub Scout paperweight. That is pretty old, but I don't know that paperweights are necessarily super collectible. So other than a Cub Scout flashlight, which I can tell that's what's underneath this plastic, I don't think there's much more else to share here. So not disappointing at all. I'm happy to get these items. I'm happy to recycle them back into scouting. But I will have to share with Steve that there's not a whole lot of value in these items. Certain things collectors go for, certain things that are on checklists that people are really looking for. Those are the things that seem to have a lot of value. But a lot of other things that are just random or maybe localized, or things like wood badge woggles, don't really have a lot of resale value. But that's okay. The most important thing I think for him from our conversations on the phone was he wanted to find someone who could put these things back into the hands of scouts and scouters and kind of recycle them. That's what I tell people. So sort of the same thing here. Whole bag of stuff that his son, doesn't want. He told me they'd gone through everything and kind of put together, what they were going to keep, eagle medals, that kind of thing. And so there's just a whole bunch of patches the son didn't need. Again, these aren't necessarily a lot of value in here, but I'm sure that working at a summer camp and being online like I am, I can recycle them back into some people's hands. So thanks very much, Jason Spangler, the SanteeSwapper. I hope you enjoyed watching this unboxing video. Check out my YouTube channel. I've got tons more, probably 2 dozen, 3 dozen by now. And my website at scoutpatchcollectors.com. You can find my newsletter, podcasts, and similar videos like this. All right, till next time.